It says here that you don't feel like most top 10 lists are all that helpful. Is that correct?
Yeah, like I don't know this person. I don't know if they have good taste in games. Why should I care what their top 10 list says?
All right, I'm listening. Why don't you tell me a little bit more about yourself?
Okay, so I'm 40 years old.
You're 41.
I'm happily married and have 3 boys.
I'm a graphic designer. I'm a pretty high energy guy, actually.
My energy type is type 1, secondary 3, upward and outward. I'm an ESTP and I'm an I/D on the disc. Valerie tells me that I'm a choleric, a sanguine, a spring flowing into winter, a vital spring. My kibigori is dramatic. I'm an Enneagram 8. I am a neutral good. However, I do appreciate a little bit of chaos. And according to Quantic Foundry, my board game motivational profile is low conflict, grounded, and independent. Anything else I should be aware of?
I'm maybe a little bit of a snob when it comes to typography and iconography. I don't like games that have a lot of really small text or hard to decipher icons. I'm looking at you, Race for the Galaxy.
And I'm poor, so I'm not into CCGs or minis. I win. Oh, yeah, why don't you just go ahead and share your top 10 list with us? Number 10. Hey gang, and thanks for joining me at Tantrum House Studio 3. I'm Will Meadows, and today I'm going to be sharing my top 10 favorite games of all time. A lot of these games, I think I like them because not only are they good and solid games, but I have some very good and fond memories with them. And so for that reason, I want to put them on the list. Now you'll see right here, Settlers of Catan, which is not actually in my list. However, my top 10 game kind of reminds me in some ways of the mechanics that I appreciated most about this game. So like many in the hobby, this was one of the first games that I had an opportunity to play, and it definitely drew me in with the ability to change up the map and have a different gameplay experience every time. But the bread and butter, the sweet spot, the goodness of this game is really, in my opinion, the negotiating and trading cards with other players in order to fulfill your goals. Now, I don't see very many games in the hobby currently using that mechanic. However, one game that I came across recently and very much enjoyed because of that reason is Moonrakers. Moonrakers features a really unique illustration style and some really fun gameplay mechanics. In the game, you are playing semi-cooperatively with everyone else at the table to try and achieve the goals and the missions that come your way. You're going to be scoring points going up this track, and it's one of those types of games where you kind of have to have like an ace up your sleeve at the end of the game to be able to jump a couple extra points ahead, which I very much enjoy. But the majority of this game is negotiating, working with others, reminding them that they owed you one from earlier, and really being able to build your hand of cards in a way that allows you to swoop in, claim the victory at the end, and make everybody else just a little mad that they teamed up with you earlier in the game. Moonrakers also has a bunch of brand new expansions that are coming very soon. They just got funded on Kickstarter this past year, and they add some really excellent gameplay elements to brand new ways of teaming up, new missions to face, an online version, a lot of really cool stuff that all fits kind of perfectly in this universe. And so for those reasons, Moonrakers is my number 10 game. Number 9. One of my favorite mechanics in general is dice manipulation. I super enjoy games like Kingsburg and games where you are taking the pips, the dots on your dice, and working them in different ways to fulfill different goals and to achieve different things in the game. I also super love a game when the theme and the mechanics all go well together. Dice Hospital does that for me. I've never played a game where I felt bad for losing dice before. In this game, if your dice get too sick and they move to the morgue, they literally die, you lose them, and the pressure that this game creates in that way through its little story element drives me crazy. When I play with other people, Kevin, who sacrifice their dice in order to score and do things in other ways, I'm like, how can you let those people die? They're in your hospital, quit letting them die. I just feel like the ante is upped by the theme in this game. I really enjoy the components. They've come back and done some upgrades and different things, so you've got cool dice towers, I got the little ambulance that hold your dice that are plastic and really serve no other purpose in the game. They have a maternity expansion and a lot of additional add-ons to the game that really just give you an enjoyable experience that has some intensity to it, that is a super fun game, that uses some really good mechanics. I enjoy the art. I really love the overall package of Dice Hospital. Number 8. The number 8 spot on my list goes to Coal Baron from R&R Games. This is got a little bit of a nostalgia value to it for me because I picked this game up at the first ever Origins game fair that I attended. It is a pretty straightforward worker placement game. However, kind of like Dice Hospital, the theme and the mechanics work really well together. In this game, you are not just moving your token to pick up a piece to move to another spot. Here you are actually building out your coal mine. You're using your elevator and action points to be able to fill up your coal and bring it into town, haul it away in carts or on trains. in order to fulfill orders and score lots of points. It's the type of game where you get better at it the more often you play. It's a little hard for me to play with brand new players because I've figured out the strategies and I know exactly, based on what's out on the board, what things I should go for and what order I should take them in. But that's one of the things I enjoy about the game, is the ability to get better at it, even though you have a lot of different random things happening with different tiles and cards coming up in different orders. I super enjoy the look of the game. I very much enjoy the nifty little coal elevator. It's a lot of fun to play with. It's a really enjoyable gameplay experience that goes just a little bit beyond the standard worker placement and really kind of ties together those two things for me, which I very much enjoy. The theme, the art, all the graphics, and the funness. Number 7. My number 7 game is Coimbra from Eggertspiel. This is a worker placement game as well. It features, again, some of the very cool components and things that remind me a little bit of Dice Hospital. You've got these turret tower things that you place your colored dice into. One of the things that drew me into the game was just the look of the art. It's really, really fantastic box art. It's kind of the whole package because the color scheme inside is unique and fantastic. The cards have a really cool illustration style to them. In the game, you have a lot of different choices. So the game has a very consistent flow where you're going to be drafting cards using your dice and then using those dice that you drafted in other places in the game. But you have some paths that you can go on that give you different benefits. You have different ways of scoring at the end, and you're going to be trying to rack up as many of those as you can. There's a lot of different tracks and ladders to climb in order to be able to score a bunch of points at the end of the game. I will say that this game is in desperate need of an expansion. Get on it, y'all, because you do play with literally every card in the deck every time you play the game. So that's a small downside to it. Obviously, the cards come up in different orders. People are going to have different strategies and going to try to buy them out from underneath you before you can get to them. But if the game had another deck of cards and then might as well just throw in a sideboard with some other stuff to do on it, it would be fantastic. I really, really love the look of this game. It matches it with some really enjoyable and complex gameplay, and I super enjoy Coimbra. Number 6. I'm giving the number 6 slot on my list to War Chest from AEG. This is a game that features, again, that fantastic art. It also has some really nice components, the little felt bags and the tokens that you use throughout the course of the game. This game is a very strategic, straightforward, abstract strategy game that plays a little bit like Big Boy Chess, where you're going to be using different movement options with different pieces in the game. It plays as a 2 or 4 player game where you're on teams, which I very much enjoy. And with the expansions and additional tokens, it really gives you the opportunity to build out your strategic abilities in this game. It's a very simple, own the territory, kill the other players, use your pieces better than they do. And it's just a really deluxe game. I very much enjoy the simplicity of it, but also the complexity of it. I also enjoy the fact that Kevin still hasn't had an opportunity to play it, because it would definitely be on his list, because War Chest is a very solid, really excellent game. It's going to be classic. It's going to be around for a long time. Check out War Chest, my number 6. Number 5! Alright, we're already down to number 5, which is hard for me to believe. You're probably getting the impression that all the games I enjoy feature lots of rich theme interwoven with fantastic art. And that's true, but I also really, really love super fun games, and Hanabi is one of those games for me. It comes in a very tiny box. This game introduced some mechanics and things that I had never seen in other games before. In the game, you actually hold your cards backwards so that you can't see them, and you have to work together as a team with everybody else at the table in order to try and put on a fantastic fireworks show. This game is a blast to teach to other players. It's a blast to play over and over again. It features some multicolor fireworks so that once you it's hard to master in the first place, but once you get good at beating the base game, it has another level up. There's a super awesome deluxe tile version of this game that I've seen that I want to get my hands on. Hanabi is just a very, very enjoyable game. I have played it over and over and over and over and over and over and never gotten bored of it, and that is why it is in my number 5 slot. Number 4. I don't know about you, but when I come to play board games, the reason I come is to have a good time. I enjoy strategy, I enjoy interacting with other people, I enjoy chatting and not even worrying about the games. But the thing that I really want out of a board game is fun. And Cubitos from AEG is one of those games. This is a racing game. There's not that many great racing games out there. The other one is Camel Up, which is like, I guess it's 11. I don't know. It's also a super fantastic game. In this game, you are doing, it's a little bit cooler than Camel Up because you're actually doing some bag building / dice building, deck building. You are purchasing additional dice, all kinds of different varieties. They can change every single time you play the game. You roll those dice in a quickish fashion because you're all playing simultaneously. You play your dice strategically to hop along the board, which changes because there's different boards you can play. And this game is just really one of those eruptuously fun games. Is that a word? A lot of the games where I get excited playing a game tend to be like simpler, happy salmon, like goofy, fun games. This game actually involves quite a bit of strategy. It does involve some luck, but there's a lot of ways to negate those issues and improve your dice rolls and do some of that pip manipulation that I enjoy so much. And this game is just one of the few games that I feel like I'm doing strategic things and like I'm mentally processing stuff, but I'm also just generally having a blast playing the game. If you haven't played it yet, you should absolutely check out Cubitos. It is my number 4. Number 3. I've played a lot of roll and writes in my time, and one of the games that has stood head and shoulders above the rest is Hadrian's Wall. This game is super fantastically deep, rich, strategically heavy, got just a little bit of luck in there. You can play with a ton of different players at the same time. You get a little bit of interaction with those other players, which is great. And there's something that's just really satisfying about grabbing those meeples out of the middle of the table, writing down, sketching off, putting them back, doing the accounting work. I feel like the game could almost have an abacus or something. Like I feel like I'm just doing lots of really cool math in my head, figuring out the best solution, trying to narrow it down. I've literally played this game dozens of times and I still have not like actually figured out how to master all of the different sections on the right sheet of paper. There's just so much going on in this game. It's incredibly replayable. I do like the art style of the game in general. I always like a game that has a little bit of history that's authentic as well, which is cool. And so my number 3 game, because I want to play it more and I still haven't figured like I figured it out and I just can't get enough of it, is Hadrian's Wall. Number 2. My number 2 spot goes to a game that I literally fell in love with the moment that I squished its squishy little pink berries. This game features some of the most beautiful and delicious components out there. The meeples for this game keep coming out in more of them, and now they have stickers for them, and they are the best and most adorable meeples out there. Everdell kind of set some standards in that way by giving you the opportunity to choose from so many things. This game, I kind of fell in love with it when it first came out, the very first edition. Now there's like, I don't even know, 6 or 8 expansions for the game, and each one features new mechanics, new ways to play the game, things that you may not have loved in the original, maybe were fixed by the newest expansion, things that you didn't think you might love, like making the game harder, or a little bit of backstab reaction, or lots of in-game goals. Like this game just keeps going and growing. Now they've got My Little Everdell or whatever. I haven't had a chance to try that one yet, but I'm looking forward to it. This game really just is the whole package. It's everything I'm looking for. It's fantastic art on every card in the game. Repeats are like very minimal. The components for the game are top notch, from the squishy berries to the pearls to the wood to everything else that's in the game. This game is really everything that I want on the table. My family enjoys playing it and breaking it in new ways. They don't recommend that you play all the expansions together, but to them I say, so what? And do it anyway. It takes up your entire table. It takes 3 hours to play. It's probably broken. It doesn't matter. This game is really, really an enjoyable, full experience. I have loved every gameplay that I've had of it. I love the fact that they keep adding more to it. I think they're finally maybe done, and that's okay. It is enough. It is full. I'm ready to play My Little Everdell and try out everything else that's coming for the game. This universe it's really gorgeous. I very much have a great time in it, and I think this will be on my list for a long time. I think this game is going to be around for a long time. Everdell. Number 1! Now, I'll be honest with you, earlier this year I actually thought about swapping Everdell and Don't Mess with Cthulhu because the new versions of Everdell came out, and they were gorgeous and they were amazing, and I was like, man, I'll probably not look as sophisticated if I pick Don't Mess with Cthulhu as my number 1 game. However, I then realized Don't Mess with Cthulhu is my favorite game of all time. I will play this game. Ask me anytime, ever. I'll put down whatever game I'm playing. I will come play this game with you. As you can see, I'm literally on my 3rd copy of this game because I've worn out the cards in 2 full decks playing this game so often. At TantrumCon this past year, we played a 16-player version of this game where I combined 2 decks and made up a couple extra rules, and it was amazing. I literally have not had a better time, more fun, more laughter, more exhaustion. I've literally been like crying, I've sweat, I haven't bled yet. Hopefully I won't bleed. This game is a blast. I'll be honest, I wish it looked a little different. I don't super love the artwork for this game. Can you believe it? After all the stuff I talked about through all the other games and components, I wish that the flashlight were made out of metal so that it would stop wearing out the cardboard surface of my game. I'm absolutely ready for a super deluxe version of this game to play right now. But the mechanics in this game are so good. They're so fun. It's the only bluffing secret identity game that I played where you can be terrible at lying and still be really good at this game. It's the only game that I've played where I thought for sure that she was messing up on purpose and that she was the bad guy, and she wasn't, and it blew my mind. It's the only game that I played where after we finished the game, I still want to talk about the game for the next 3 years and say, remember that time at that place when we did that thing? You know who I'm talking about. And man, this game is joy. It brings me joy. I have a blast with it. I'm happy to let people know that this is my favorite game. If you've not played Don't Mess With Cthulhu, go play it right now. I don't know what you're waiting for. If you've liked any of the other games on my list, this is my number one. Tell me how crazy that is. I would love to know in the comments. Did you think he's gonna stick it out? If you haven't watched my top 10 party games video, you should go check that out because I have a lot of really fantastic party games on there. I think maybe 1 or 2 made it into this. This was my number 1 game on that list. It is my number 1 overall favorite game. What are your favorite games? Did I get even close? Did you think this is where I was gonna end up? As I was going through all the other games, were you like, yeah, his number 1 game is probably gonna be something else, but then it was this. I hope you enjoyed. I hope there was great value in this video. I hope that you find some games in here that you can super enjoy as well. If you play this game and you don't like it, I want to know why. Put it in the comments. Let me know why you don't like it if you don't. I don't think you're wrong. I think you could be a different type of person, a different type of gamer than I am. However, if you enjoy fun, if you enjoy a good time with friends, if you enjoy being able to teach people things that introduce them to new ideas and concepts and fun, I think this is the game for you. Go play Don't Mess With Cthulhu. Thank you guys so much. Love y'all. Number one. Last playing the game Hanabi from whoever it's from. R&R, man, they're killing it.
Yeah, like, I don't know this person. I don't know if they have good taste in games. Like, I don't know what their top 10 list, if it's worth watching or anything like that.
Valerie said I'm a sanguine, a choleric, and a flowing spring. And a what? I'm a spring flowing into winter, a vital spring. Choleric, a winter flowing into spring. What? Flowing into winter. Valerie tells me I'm a sanguine, a cleric, a winter flowing into spring, spring flowing into freaking winter. Cleric, a sanguine, a spring, a summery winter. What the heck?